Hello and welcome to Rotted Reviews, and today we're going to be opening up the fifth door in our advent calendar of Christmas horror movies. And what does this door of our advent calendar open up? It opens up the 2021 movie, The Advent Calendar. Currently available on AMC Plus or Shudder, this is a film from France written and directed by 𝗘𝗾𝗄𝗼𝗺 𝗃, and in it we find the character of Ava. Ava seems to be an individual that is, well, just generally kind of skating by. She doesn't have any real relationships to speak of. Her job is less than ideal, but, she's making it. She's isolated, but she seems happy enough. And then in early December, an old friend visits from Germany with her birthday present. And this particular birthday present is something that her friend got from a market in Germany and turns out to be a pretty, elaborate advent calendar. It's made of ornate wood. It has a lot of little secret compartments and so forth. They open it up and every door has to be opened with a key. There's sets of instructions including, if you toss this away, I'll kill you. But what would a German antique conversation piece be without a little bit of macabre humor? Ha ha ha! It's going to kill us. Let's open the first door. And of course, what they find is more than they expected, as Ava is forced into a position of continuing to open the doors up until Christmas, and inside finding all manner of things from chocolates to, more nefarious instructions. Now, to be perfectly honest, I thought there was a whole lot to like about this movie. The characters were well done, especially the main character of Ava, played remarkably well by Eugène Deron, and ultimately, it was just a whole lot of fun. I didn't really find anything that terribly deep about this movie. I found it to be a little bit more just distilled horror fun, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. What there is something wrong with, unfortunately for this film, is a story that doesn't quite know what to do with itself. I could speak all day and praise the execution of this movie, but I think on a more fundamental level, the core concept was a little difficult to get around. Just from a writing standpoint, this movie becomes a little bit conceptually complex. If you have an hour and a half long runtime and just, 90 pages of a screenplay, you got 24 doors to open. How do you really reconcile that without having some repetition? And unfortunately, that's kind of the trap that this movie fell into. Yeah, you can have some dire consequences, you can have some terrible instructions, you can have the character go through the meat grinder and the roller coaster, but 24 of them. You're going to wind up in a situation where some of them are just filler, and that's exactly what happened here, and it just kind of felt like a pacing stall out. Sure, you'd have a situation where, like in this movie, no terrible spoilers as far as any kind of resolution towards the end or anything, but, towards the beginning of opening up the calendar, sure, sleep for 4 days. That ought to kill another 4 doors, and then you just wake up and you have some candy wrappers sitting in your lap, and then they turn into something, but, that was 4 days that it kind of had to plow through real quick. And then there is some softball things, and there is some repetition, and there is some just kind of general filler in between the more dire moments. It just became a situation where 24 of them, oofed. So yeah, at times it does kind of feel like this movie is just stalling for time and plowing through the plot until it can get to the next big event that it wants to do, and then it centers that around a particular door because why not? But I think if this movie was trying to go for something deeper, something more complex on a subtextual level, that level of filler would have worked against it a whole lot more than it did. As it was, it just kind of felt like driving over some cobblestones, a little rough, a little but ultimately you're still getting there. It was just a ride. This movie was a fun ride that didn't have a whole lot more underneath, but that's, again, okay. And I think, honestly, the same could kind of be said about the ultimate plot resolution of the characters. It was the kind of thing where if it was trying to go for something deeper, if it was trying to be a more thoughtful film, then it probably would have felt a bit weak, honestly. However, given the nature of what it was and what the ride for the last hour and 29 minutes had been, I thought it worked serviceably well. It was a little deflating, but sometimes you just can't quite stick the landing. That doesn't mean that the previous 99% of the ride wasn't a good time. So yeah, although this won't make anywhere near my top 10 of 2021 list, I did find it to be a fun, interesting, and extraordinarily well executed Christmas horror movie. And around this time of year, I've learned that when the sugar plums lace up their shoes, they can dance if they want to. So thank you very much for watching this review of the Advent Calendar. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click like. That really helps me out a whole lot. And if you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Click that button. Do it. Please. Remember, next time you want to watch a horror movie, first make sure that it's good and rotted.